What's up, guys? Fasteady here, and today we're gonna analyze the Predator, Pierre Wehry. You guys have asked for him, so here it is. This guy is so fucking notorious within the Predaverse. When I first rediscovered the show, because I remember the show from like fucking 2008 or whatever, but when I first rediscovered the show like in 2015 online, like on YouTube, he was the one who just like cracked me up. Like watching after I saw the fucking original clip, like the unedited footage of this, um, it just like it was so fucking hilarious. Like after that, I had to like watch more clips. But I remember this was like one of the first ones that really fucking like cracked me up. So yeah, let's just get right down into this analysis. This guy's a liar. He has all kinds of hilarious fucking like tics. He licks his lips all the time. So let's check it out. Oh, that's a shit. That's like some fucking Middle Eastern music. Okay, and before we even get started, so like I guess NBC owns the footage for this or some shit, and they are like bitches about the copyright. So the only way that we could analyze this is like it was either this or like a one from Joey Jeremiah. So and I think this one is a little bit more chill to watch. Um, so yeah, let's jump into this one. And yeah, shout out to the uploader, Chris Hansen for uploading this. See right there. What the fuck was that? And I know that he was in jail before he has a criminal history. It comes out that he has a criminal history. I wonder if that's like some shit that he learned in jail. Like it's like a low key like call. It's just like a way to get someone's attention without like saying hey, like without being hella obvious. Like it's a plausibly deniable way to get someone's attention. He's just speaking in code. Yeah, see, he's looking around. That's what he's doing. That's why he's not staying at the door. Normally, you would knock on the door or get someone's attention, and then you would just stay there. You wouldn't like fucking doorbell ditch them. Like just like, get their attention, knock on the door, and then like start walking away like that. But he's looking around. He's backtracking and he's making sure that no one saw him go in the house. That's got to be what he's doing. No, he's making sure there's no witnesses. He's a criminal. He knows how trials go. He knows that anyone who sees him could be called in by the prosecution to testify against him. So he's making sure that he thinks the coast is clear.
You out there, man?
You out there, man? Fucking Dell. Damn! And look at the way he fucking. This guy comes in like a fucking bull in a china shop. Look at this fat ass guy fucking barge in here. Oh my god, hold on. We're good. There's like impact there. Like he hits the door with some force, and then he looks back at what he's done. So he looks. He's like, oh shit! I think he broke it. I think he fucking broke so he probably realized right there. He's like, oh shit! I just broke this dude's. I just broke Mr. Pedersen's. You're not gonna be able to get the job from him now, right? You just fucking broke his back door. And he looks fucking homeless. He's got this big ass baggy shirt, this bright yellow backpack. It's really iconic too. This is definitely one of the more iconic looks. I think Hansen said in one of the unseen tapes or whatever that he looked like he was like a eco traveler or some bullshit. Like he was like running a marathon, like Crystal, and he was weary, like he was tired. The guy was exhausted. With the camera.
Hey, sir, can you come back over here, please? You want a seat right over there? You seem to be in a hurry there. Wait, have a seat right there, please. All right.
And you can't see it right there. I mean, we can't see it. But I remember the original footage, and later we'll look at like the full clip. I think the second part of it is just like the original unedited footage. But right there, he's scrunching his eyes. I remember, I mean, he's just looking with so much suspicion. It's like he knows immediately. I think because of all this guy's criminal past, he has criminal instincts. They're not astute, but he has them. So he's thinking right now, oh shit. And it's like he's famous for fucking weaving a lie, for spinning a yarn. This guy is so creative in his lie. I mean, he goes on and on. And it's like right now, I think he realizes that the stakes are high. So it's like, I mean, it's go time. Immediately he knows, and and so now he's in the mindset of like, I have to perform, and that's what inspires the rest of his action. Look at him. I mean, his mouth is open. His mouth hasn't even closed. So it's like he's just taking it all in, and he immediately realizes the severity and the seriousness of the situation.
Oh, nothing. I thought I was looking for somebody.
And look how calm he is. Exactly. So look at the transition. Look at the transition.
Seat right there, please.
Because he responds so calmly, because he knows that he has to respond calmly. That even though inside he's experiencing a massive amount of turmoil, the only chance he has of he should have said nothing. He should have just he should have kept his mouth shut and then not said a word and calmly walked out of the door. Or asked Chris, "Am I being detained?" And if as soon as Chris said no, fucking leave. That's it. Chris will say blah blah blah. No, he should have left. But no, in Jean-Pierre Wehry's mind, the only way that he could escape is to be convincing when he says that he wasn't going to do anything. He has to act like, oh, what? I'm here for a job interview. Like, why should I be nervous? I'm just here for a job interview. So it's like, even though he's tripping, he has to act like everything's all good. He has to act outwardly calm. Look at him. His mouth is open. You can tell.
Oh, nothing. I thought I was looking for somebody, and that's all. I'm sorry.
And who were you looking for?
John Pedersen.
John Pedersen.
John Pedersen.
Yeah.
And why were you looking for John?
Well, I was going to talk about some business.
And what business was that?
I'm going to try to find a job somewhere, and I heard about John Pedersen.
You heard about John. So I mean, I think no one is denying that it's just bullshit. There's absolutely no shit, like it's all made up, and it's kind of crazy that he can make this up just right off the top of his head. So it's like, I guess another question would be, did he have this in his back pocket when he walked into the house? So did he walk into the house half expecting a sting? And did he walk into the house, with this pre-rehearsed, oh, I'm here for a job interview, Like, did he have his story already canned? But if he didn't, if he did, it's like, well, no shit. But if he didn't and he made it up, I mean, it's almost impressive. I mean, it's creative as fuck. Like eventually, this guy's incorporating fucking a Mexican on a bus. He talks about a black girl. I mean, and it's like these are. I'm not gonna get into it now, but it's like there's a reason that he does that. It's like he makes some moves that are strategic and that are persuasive. Like, I mean, obviously he's full of shit, but it's like you can tell that he's just creative. He's a creative fucking guy. And it's really shitty when it's like people are creative and they use that for like malicious purposes, because this guy could have been like a fucking author. It's like you could have used your creativity for good, instead you have to fucking just try and like sleaze your way out of problems.
I heard there was a guy named John Pedersen in the area. That's all I know.
In the area?
But it's like I guess I'm giving him too much credit, because it's like that's fucking retarded to just say Chris like in the area. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, you're in a specific home, you're in a specific address at night. So I mean, to just say that you heard someone was in the area, so it's like, what, you just chose this house to enter at random?
In this area. That's all.
This area.
And why did you come to this house looking for John Pedersen?
Exactly.
I had a phone call.
Phone call.
A phone call?
Yeah.
From?
In fact, I don't actually know the guy, besides the fact that his name is, I don't even remember his name.
Of course
It was
not.
about 5 hours ago. I've been walking.
How far did you walk?
See, so Jean-Pierre Wehry has just said, I want to keep track. I'm gonna try and take like meticulous notes on like what his story is, just so we could really examine it. So right there, he said that he got a phone call from someone, and it was 5 hours ago, and that he doesn't remember who the person was. So look,
I had a phone call.
A phone call.
Yeah.
From?
In fact, I don't actually know the guy, besides the fact that his name is, I don't even remember his name. It was about 5 hours ago. I've been walking.
see, so it's like, I mean, 5 hours is not enough time to forget someone's name, especially if it's a person who told you where a job interview was going to be, or where a person who was an employer was. Presumably that person would relay, they would say something about your character, right? Like, think about it. If this was really like, if John Pedersen was fucking real, if he was actually hiring for construction work, and Jean-Pierre Wehry had a friend, like like John Pedersen would ask whoever referred Jean-Pierre Wehry about how he works. John Pedersen would be like, "Well, what's this guy's character? Like, is he going to be able to show up on time? Is he going to will he come in or stay extra if we need him? Like, is this guy serious about his work, or is he just fucking bullshitting?" Um, so it's like that guy would have to know Jean-Pierre Wehry. It's like that's what would happen. The only if a person is an employer, and someone refers a person to them, like the employer is gonna want to know what kind of fucking employee they are. So it's already bullshit. It's like there's already a whole other story that he already forgot the person's name who referred him because it's been 5 hours.
How far did you walk?
And Chris drops it. Chris is like, but there's so much bullshit. That's what I mean. It's like, I'm gonna try and like acknowledge every bit of bullshit. I think that's something that we should all do. But yeah, this guy just continually lies.
How far did I walk?
How far did I?
Where did you come from?
And see, he does that on purpose. So Chris will ask him a question, and then he'll just respond with the question. It's because the more lies that he puts out, the more things he has to remember. It's like he's completely making this story up, and everything that he's gonna say now is just a fabricate. Like, well, I mean, there's one thing in particular that just straight up changes. It's like he can't even keep track of his bullshit, so he changes a major thing that I guess we'll go and do when it happens. But yeah, it's more difficult to fucking lie the more details are out there. So it's like he's trying to be evasive. Chris asks how far he walked, and he's like, "How far did I?" Like he has to think about it.
I came from the mall down the road.
From the mall.
No, but originally, where did you start?
Exactly, that's a non-answer. How far did you walk? Well, I came from down there. It's like that's no. What Chris is asking about the original destination. He's not just asking about like a fucking intermediate destination.
I started off in Claremont.
Claremont.
And how far away is that?
I have no idea.
So you took a bus
I took a bus part of the way.
and walked
He
the
could
rest?
he could have answered a long time or a short time just to have no idea. Bullshit. You have an idea. You just did it. You literally just did it. I mean he just completed his journey. So Chris is like, when did you begin this journey? He's like, I have no idea, dude. I mean it's just beyond me. I couldn't say. Which is obviously bullshit.
Yeah, I was just walking up the road because I was looking and I was told that, there's a Johnny Pedersen that has a
So
construction
that's a complete dodge of the question.
company that had in it.
So you were just walking down the road
There's a Johnny Pedersen that has a construction up the road because I was looking.
and walked the rest.
Yeah, I was just walking up the road because I was looking and I was told that, there's a Johnny Pedersen that
Okay, when was he told this? What do you mean you were just walking down the road and you were told this? When were you told this?
has a construction company that had in it.
So you were just walking down the road
I
and you
think-
thought that this fellow with the construction company lived in this
And
house.
somebody told me that he lived
Who's somebody?
Somebody who was
Exactly. That's perfect. That's perfect.
on the phone.
a young man on the phone. And how did you reach this young man on the phone?
So this is the young man who originally he said that he couldn't remember because it was 5 hours ago. The young man who presumably also referred him to Mr. Pedersen.
And he had called me.
He called.
He had called you just out of the blue?
No, I think he had my number.
So how'd he get it? This guy's just dialing fucking random numbers on the phone. He's like, "Hey, do you want a job? Hey, do you want to go to this house hella late at night?" A stranger calls you and tells you to do that, and then you do it. Come on, dude.
And how did he get your number?
Exactly.
I don't know how he got my number.
It was magic.
That
He's a sorcerer. He's a fucking evil sorcerer.
I've been putting out word that I'm looking for a job, and I was told that John Patterson.
And that's such a fucking boomer thing to say, like that you're putting out word. I mean, that would work in like a small town, like I guess I mean, like in the 1960s, like in fucking some small Louisiana like rural town, like if you were looking for work, you would just like put out word, I guess, like it would be like spread through word of mouth, that you were looking for work. But it's like that wouldn't fly, especially in California, like in the mid 2000s, like I live in California, and I was like, I've been an adult for since, I've been working for a while, and no, it's there's no like putting out word. You just like turn in applications and like apply. So like what he's talking about is complete bullshit. It's not applicable in our context. Like it might be applicable in some societal context, but not the one that him and I live in here in fucking in Cali.
So
All I had was his address.
you received a call from someone who you didn't know, who said, "Go to a house where you've never been."
Look at those fucking hand
See a man
movements.
you've never met.
That's so on
Who
point.
said, "Go to a received a call."
Look, this is fucking excellent. This is so persuasive on Chris's part, and this is why he was the host of the show, right? Like, look, check out his hands, and like, this is such an effective delivery.
So
All I had was his address.
you received a call from someone who you didn't know, who said, "Go to a house where you've never been."
I know.
To see a man you've never met to get a job. Is that correct?
Is that correct? That's perfect. That is what he said so far. That's exactly what he said so far. And in restating it, the absurdity of Jean-Pierre Wehry's tale, it just smacks you in the face. It's preposterous. It's fucking preposterous to imagine. So now Jean-Pierre Wehry is going to say, no, that's not what so Jean-Pierre Wehry is saying, okay, Jean-Pierre Wehry is conceding. What you're saying sounds crazy, but here's why my story isn't that. So now he's going to try and clarify.
I have a friend.
You have a friend.
Okay.
But you don't know his name.
He told me about a guy named John Patterson that lives in this neighborhood.
In this neighborhood.
Okay. I had an address. I found out where this neighborhood was.
How did you find out the address? That's the question. Did the guy tell you the address? And if so, why don't you know his name if that's the case? Because then it would be a reference, right? That guy would just by default he would be the reference to for Jean-Pierre Wehry regarding his employment with Scott Pedersen.
I'm looking for work.
You couldn't just call John Pedersen on the phone?
What are you saying?
I walked. I'm looking for an address. That lives. He told me about
This
a
is
guy named
bullshit.
John Pedersen that lives in this neighborhood. Okay. I had an address. I found out where this neighborhood was. I walked. I'm looking for work.
So right there, so when he says I walked, that's when he begins his bullshit. I mean the rest is bullshit too, but now he's just getting into I walked, I'm looking for work. It's like you're just restating very vaguely and ambiguously what his lie is. And that's the point. He wants to be as ambiguous as possible because the more specific he is, the easier it is to pin him to lies. That's what people do when they don't want to when they're lying. Even in politics too, it's like whenever you hear people like talk politics, like be aware of people being evasive. A lot of people will be they'll just use slick ass language to dodge questions. Like it's like trying to grab a fucking fish, like a salmon, like with your bare hands, like in the water. It's like it's just hard. And it's like that's what Jean-Pierre Wehry is doing. He's just being slick. He's not answering the questions. He's just dodging the questions.
You couldn't just call John Pedersen on the phone?
I was not given his actual number. I was told he was just going to be in the area.
Just hanging out waiting for you?
No.
At a
No.
Yep.
20 at
My
night?
problem was I was walking.
Nope, that's your problem is that you're lying.
My problem was I was walking.
So you thought you were going to come to a job interview at this home at 11:20 at night.
That's exactly what his story. That would be the reality if his story were true. I mean, that's what he's articulating.
I was going to leave a note.
You're going to leave a note.
That's all I'm going to do.
Why did you do that?
That's all.
That's all.
That's all I have.
Do you
Look at that.
see why that doesn't make
Hold
sense?
on.
Well, you know, that's all I have. I'm going to do.
Look at this, and this is so indicative of. I mean, this just really captures like the futility, and it's like this is a rare glimpse at like it's just the truth when he says this. I think that he's saying a lot more than meets the eye. So let's listen to this.
That's all.
That's all.
That's all I have.
That's all I have. That's him just saying like, dude, like I'm exhausted. Like please just accept this. Like that's him saying like that's all I have. Like that's it. Like please accept the story I've given you. Don't ask me any more questions. Like I'm lying. This is difficult. I mean, and that's just it's hilarious. There's another moment that he has too where he does something similar, but this one's funny. He's just exhausted and he's just being straight up about it.
Do you see why that doesn't make sense?
Well, you know, I understand this construction.
He didn't answer the question. Exactly. So that's what he's being a slippery fish. It's like Chris is reasonably asking. It's like Occam's razor, right? The simplest answer is probably the accurate one, right? It's like don't complicate things that are not necessarily complicated by their nature. Don't overly complicate them with your own doing. And that's what he's doing. That's what Jean-Pierre Wehry is doing right now. It's like what he's saying. He has to perform mental gymnastics for his story to make sense, and he knows it. That's why when Chris just asked, "Okay, dude, do you understand that your story is fucking preposterous?" And Jean-Pierre Wehry doesn't even respond. He's all, "Well, blah blah blah."
Okay, that's what I know. And I was told that John, you know, I could leave a note here because young man, I don't know, college kid.
Smart move on his part. See, so already Chris has not made any accusations about what he's actually here for. So we've already, for a few minutes, we've been going on for a few fucking minutes, and there's been no explicit accusation. It's like Chris is just letting this guy fucking, it's like the guy he's already taken the bait and the hook is in his mouth. Chris is just fucking letting him fucking go as far as he wants with it. He's just seeing where he's going. He's not going to confront him because he's going to get defensive as soon as Chris hits him with that. So Chris is just seeing where he's taking this.
Knows John, I don't know.
And it's like Jean-Pierre Wehry's preemptively saying, college. So already it's like college equals adult. So he's already going to say, what are you talking about? Like no one's an adult or no one's a child. Everyone is an adult. Even the guy who called me is a college kid. Therefore, he's an adult.
And
see, and Chris recognized that. He goes, college kid.
John, I don't know.
College kid.
Exactly. It's like age, because when you say college kid, you're implicitly. I mean, there's like a connotation to that that's like age, adult. You think of like adult, very distinct from like high school kid, right? I mean, he said college kid. College kid means adult. It just means you're like a young adult. But high school kid means you're a kid. You're like a legal minor. So he's already trying to control like the linguistic framework of the interaction.
When I called the number, he said, "Yeah, come on, the back gates, the gates open."
And what's your name?
My name is Michael.
Michael Wilson.
No, Michael Wehry.
No, Michael Wehry. See, he trips out
What's
on
your
that.
email address?
Look at that's a
Michael Wilson.
No, Michael Wehry.
Michael Wehry. And what's your email address?
Dr. Julian Bashir, who's a fucking awesome TCAPper, he had a video where I don't know if he still has it up, where it's like the sickening realization of Jean-Pierre Wehry, where it's like Chris asked him about that. He's all, J. Michael Wilson, and he's all, no, Jean-Michael Wehry, but it's just hilarious. Like, he draws extra attention to like how absurd it is. The names are so similar. I think just because Jean-Pierre Wehry, like, I'm just gonna call him that. Fuck, I don't know what his actual name is, but he's always been Jean-Pierre Wehry for me. So it's like he must use that as like an alias, albeit a thin one. It's a thinly veiled alias. The names are fairly fucking similar. Willsey and Wehry. They start the same, they fucking end the same. It's just the middle that's different. So he must do that just to insulate himself, to put distance between whatever name has criminal history and whatever one doesn't. So if Jean-Pierre Wehry is his legal name and he was locked up under Jean-Pierre Wehry, then he's gonna want to say he's Willsey, just to put distance between his crimes and his name.
An email address?
Yeah.
How about jmichaelwilsey@yahoo.com?
I think I've used J. Michael Wilson.
I think I've used.
But I used that a long time ago.
What the fuck?
How about today?
See, look at that.
See?
What kind of bullshit is that?
I think I've used J. Michael Wilson. But I used that a long
A
time ago.
long time ago, and his eyes get all squinty, like he's trying to like he's genuinely confused. It looks like he's looking. He's like, "What are you talking about? Like how could that be? I haven't used that email in a long time." And once again, it's like, what is a long time? It's another ambiguous statement that he's making to prevent being pinned down. So once again, it's like, I'm walking, I'm looking for work, long time. It's like these are all ambiguous statements that don't mean anything. They're just bullshit answers.
How about today? How about on the 30th of December?
Obviously, Chris Hansen has the chat log. It was an email exchange. There's a hella funny song from His Cranston about it, like "Get Me Busted" or some shit. But yeah, Chris has the accurate. He has what amounts to the chat log, and the chat log has J. Michael Willsey, I guess, and Jean-Pierre Wehry obviously was using that. Obviously, I'm sure that the address was given in the chat log that Chris has. Like, hey, show up. Hey, here's who I am. So it's like Chris has all the evidence in his fucking hand right there. And Jean-Pierre Wehry is just gonna try and fucking deny it.
Oh, no, I was...
How about on the 31st of December?
And Chris has the chat log, so Chris knows. He's like, dude, I have the dates right here. I have everything that was said and the corresponding dates. And and look at him. See, he's looking at him like he's all confused. What the fuck is going on?
On the 31st of December.
How about on January 4th?
He's not answering.
I haven't been on a computer in a while.
He didn't. Okay, so he's lying. So he says, but once again, so I haven't been on a computer in a while. How long is a while? The idea of like, so just regarding ambiguity, like the idea of a bright line is crucial when you're having a conversation or like when you're discussing like a concept. Like a stop sign means stop. A stop sign means do not slow down. It means like when you see a red fucking stop sign when you're driving, like it means stop your fucking car, right? And that is a distinct concrete meaning. But go slow or slow down is an it's ambiguous. So it doesn't it's subject to interpretation, it's open to interpretation. So it's more confusing. And it's like, I guess it's not more but I mean it's arguable when I say it's confusing. Like it's going to mean different things to different people because it's open to interpretation. And what he's trying to do is say things that don't have a bright line. He's trying to say things that are open to interpretation. All of his statements have been non-answers. He just says, I haven't used a computer in a long time. It's like, that doesn't mean anything. You're not saying, if you said, I haven't used a computer in X amount of months, that means it's like, you're putting a bright line there. You're saying this. But he's being vague and evasive.
Myself, I used to.
How about on the 5th?
When I was married, I used to use that name.
See, and even then, it's like, when were you married? He's not answering for fucking shit.
Why don't you just tell me the truth?
I don't know when
It's going to be a lot easier if you just tell me.
That's good. That's a flex.
It's going to be a lot easier.
Exactly. Yella realized that was a flex. This was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Look.
It's going to be a lot easier for what?
He's all, dude, don't even fucking flex on me right now. Look, he puts his hand up. Now he's like fucking, now he's testifying. He's going to put his fucking hand up. Yeah, so Chris is already trying to turn up the heat on him right now. That was the first real fucking real attack on Jean-Pierre Wehry from Chris. So it's like I think now he's gonna get now he knows that he really needs to step his game up. So let's see if he actually gives any better answers than what he's given so far, than the fucking bullshit that he's given so far.
I had a phone call. That's what I had. Okay, that's what I had. I came to what.
Yeah, he doesn't tell us when the phone. Oh, he said 5 hours ago, but he doesn't tell us who the person was calling him. Who was that person? We don't know.
Was construction. I was going to leave a note. That's all I have.
Where's the note? If I was Chris, I'd say, "Where's the note, dude? Were you gonna write the note?" I bet you he doesn't have pen and paper. He probably doesn't. It's like, who carries a pen and paper? I carry pen and paper, but I'm a fucking student, so it makes sense. But it's like when I wasn't I haven't always been a student. Like I just fucking worked for a long time and didn't do any fucking academic bullshit. And I didn't carry fucking pens and papers with me. Like, you don't do that unless you fucking need it. His backpack probably has like fucking it has milk, obviously, which is disgusting, but he probably has like overnight shit or just like I don't know, like fucking clothes and like supplies, like daily supplies. Drug like weed, drugs and shit. If he fucks with drugs, he probably has his drugs in there. But yeah, he probably doesn't even have a pen and paper. So Chris could have asked him that. He didn't.
Okay, I was going to get myself back to town and go home.
You willing to send me a couple good news? You are one section.
And he's furrows his fucking brow. He's all squinty. He's like, what are you reading? What are you talking about?
Boy, how tall? Give me dimensions, please.
I don't know what that refers to. I am in the process of going.
He doesn't know what it refers to. Like,
What that refers to.
so I mean, he absolutely knows. Now we can't really see it. I'll be able to get into his body language. I haven't really talked about his body language. It's kind of hard to see even on this, but it looks like his arms are crossed now, which would be indicative of being defensive. You know, like we manifest how we feel sometimes. So if we're feeling anxious, we'll like bite our like we outwardly manifest how we're feeling, right? That's why we bite our nails when we're anxious and we fucking like do shit like that. We like get all bouncy when we're really happy. Um, but when you're defensive, you know, conversely, like when you're attacked, you get defensive. You cover up your internal organs, right? So it's like he feels attacked. So physically he's going to manifest that. Physically he's gonna want to defend himself because he's being attacked. That's exactly what's going on. He has to defend himself, and he doesn't do a good job.
I am in the process of going through a dating service for a girl that, you know, and I've been trying to see, you know.
Okay,
Dating service. I am in the process of, I don't.
Dimensions, please.
So now Chris is just reading him verbatim shit that he said to the decoy, and his answer is the non-answer.
I don't know what that refers to.
Well, I mean, as far as bullshit goes, it's a decent answer because there's no way to prove what he knows. So he says, I don't know what that refers to. It's like we can't prove that. So I mean, it's a lie. Like we all know that he does know what that refers to. We know that that's what he said, but we can't prove it. We just can't like actually prove it because he's being fucking vague.
I am in the process of going through a dating service for a girl that, you know, and I've been trying.
And that's strategic too, to talk about a dating service. Like dating services are for adults. I mean, I think the connotation is that adult, similarly to college kid, it's like college kid means adult. Dating service, I think the connotation is like adult. It's like older people. I think at least, like I think of fucking older people who are using dating services or whatever. I mean, well, I guess it's different now. Like it's ubiquitous. Like people are doing it a lot now, but back in the day, less people did it. I think that people from all walks of life did it, but it was just less popular because the internet was less popular in like the mid 2000s. So yeah, there's no way. I mean, he was just doing that to give a connotation of an adult, similarly to the college kid thing. He just wants Chris to be thinking adult, like subconsciously.
Seen
course, how can I know you're not a cop or working for them or trying to blank with me or get me busted?
Get me busted. That's the name of the song. You should listen to the song. It's like get me busted. No, so Jean-Pierre Wehry, like he tripped. He was very cautious. He suspected, and because he's been arrested before, so he knows how these things work.
You are a really cute 13-year-old, and I love what I saw.
That's so
I need to see
disgusting.
you in
It's
person,
perfect.
talk, and see what you are
And that's
wanting.
perfect that Chris just presents it like that. He just says, he said he's just reading verbatim. So he's not even accusing. This is the best way to confront this guy. He's just reading verbatim what he said. He's saying, here's what you're actually
When you're
stating.
offline, also you talked about peeps porn.
Peeps board. Hold on, let's
When
go
you're
back.
wow. I need to see you in person. You are a really cute 13-year-old, and I love what I saw.
Wow.
See, he says, "Wow." So it's like as soon as that's so Chris is now acknowledging that, and then Jean-Pierre Wehry just goes, "Wow." But it's like, so instead of even saying that's bullshit, he just says, "Wow." That's like, if someone said that, you wouldn't say "Wow," you'd go, "What the fuck?" and you'd be outraged, right? But he just says, "Wow." If someone accused you of that, and you know you were actually innocent, if that was the case, then you wouldn't respond the way that this guy's fucking responding.
Just see you in person, talk, and see what you are wanting when you're offline. Also, you talked about peeps
Porn. What the fuck is peeps porn? That's like one of the greatest mysteries about this guy. It's like I think of fucking like peeps, like the marshmallow candies. Like it's just hilarious. That somewhere out there is like if there's a video, or I don't know if it's a video or a company or whatever, but it's like they don't even know how many people have wondered about peeps porn. It's similar to hand jobs, right? And Chuck Harding, it's like hand jobs. It's horrible that it exists, but it does exist, and it's like there are people who unironically peruse that fucked up sick shit. So similarly, it's like there are people who are watching peeps porn, like not because it's has to do with JPW, just because. So it's interesting. It's like intertextuality.
By the way, why wouldn't I want to see you and taste your beautiful body?
What? That's so weird.
You are a gorgeous 13-year-old.
Why is he repeating that? That's so disturbing that he repeats the age like that.
Style.
That's not your style.
Beautiful body.
That's not.
That's not your style.
13-year-old.
That's not my style.
What kind of defense is that? That's not my style. Like, well, so what is your style, dude? Like, I mean, like, well, what is your fucking preference then?
I never had any affiliation with 13-year-olds.
Like,
13-year-old.
That's not my style. I never had any affiliation with 13-year-olds.
Are you a photographer?
I think about a long time ago.
What the fuck?
You think about it.
Look at that.
Well, I don't consider myself.
Exactly.
I think about affiliation with 13-year-olds.
Are you a photographer?
I think about a long time ago.
What kind of answer is to say I think about a long time ago?
You think about it a long time.
Well, I don't consider myself a photographer. I think it's
Exactly. It's like, what is a photographer? It's like, once again, there's no bright line. Exactly. So because there is no bright line, he's saying, yeah, well, I took pictures, but I'm not a photographer. Like a photographer is a thing, and because the criteria to become that thing is vague, I don't think I've met that criteria. So it's like, yes, he probably was a photographer. He probably was a paid photographer, um, but he's gonna say that he wasn't just because he can, because there's no bright line regarding what a photographer is and what a photographer isn't. And what he said is fucking bullshit. To say I think about a long time ago, like what the hell? Like you don't recall? Like did you forget? Did you forget how you spent your fucking adult working life?
long
I'm
time
a
ago.
promotional photographer.
Right, he says it right
I know
there.
some people that knew that of me.
What the?
I'm a promotional photographer.
I know some people that knew that of me.
I know some people that knew that of me. So when he says that, what he's saying is, well, just because that is in the chat log doesn't mean that I said it, because I know people who know that of me. So once again, his claim is that he's in a setup, that he's being framed. So he's saying to Bolster's defense, well, the fact that you have that information about me isn't damning because other people know that too, which I guess is actually a fairly strategic defense. It's like some of these guys just are quiet and they don't say shit. I think of Jerry Griffith. When he gets interrogated by Chris, he shuts the fuck up. He hardly talks. And when he does talk, it's retarded. But it's like Jean-Pierre Wehry talks a lot. I think Jean-Pierre Wehry talks more than Chris, which is interesting. The ratio. That's interesting to think about. The ratio of who is speaking more. Normally it's Chris. For the guys who are quiet, some of these guys are real quiet, and it's Chris who's trying to pry information out of him. But other times, it's like the ones who are famous, the clips who are famous, it's always the guys who just fucking go on and on and on.
Did you ever do any promotions for the Kindergarten Cop, the movie?
I saw it.
I'm a cop, you idiot.
I know something.
Fucking Kindergarten Cop. That's like a good movie. That's a hell of funny like classic '90s movie or late '80s. I don't know.
That was it.
I am a promotional photographer and have done such promotions as Kindergarten Cop,
I've done
some pornos, gay
Some
porno.
pornos. What the fuck?
I don't.
That's so disturbing that he just like oscillates between these two worlds. Like one day you're filming, one day you're like working for a Kindergarten Cop, and the next morning you're doing a gay porno. Oh, that's just weird.
I have not used J. Michael Wilson in a long time.
J. Michael Wilson.
In the internet addresses. I have the name on my school ID because of the fact.
School ID. I wonder what school it was. I bet it was like a community college or some bullshit. There are a lot of people who are like middle aged. I went to community college and graduated from one. Like, they're fucking great if you want to save money and still like get a degree. But I knew a lot of people who were like older, who just like they took like classes at JC just because like they wanted to. They didn't even want to get a degree necessarily, but they were just like bored or whatever, which is cool for them. Better than just sitting on their ass.
How did I say that? When I was going to school, 6 years ago.
Okay. So 10. Okay, so
years ago, 6 to 10 years ago was 1990. Excuse me, 1999.
10.
When I left.
What the fuck?
6 years ago.
So interesting turn of events. Now he's giving specifics. Now for the first time he's giving numbers. So the only other number he said is 5 hours ago. That's the only other fucking number. He's been so evasive about everything. Now he's saying specifics. So let's see if let's check out the coherence of his tale.
When I was going to school, 6 years ago.
But it's like, why are you talking about your school ID? Why aren't you talking about your fucking
school ID or addresses? I have the name on my school ID because of the fact.
Why are you talking about your school ID? Why does that matter? That doesn't matter. You should only talk about your legal name and your driver's license.
When I was going to school, 6 years ago, 10 years ago, 6 to 10 years ago was 1999 when I left.
Yeah, that's because that's how people recall age. They pause like that.
That's right. But I've had some people that really didn't like me.
What do you? So that jump is so when he says people don't like him, what are you talking about? It's like, listen to his story.
End of story. Years ago, 10 years ago, 6 to 10 years ago was 1999 when I left. End of story.
It's not end of story. What are you talking about? There's no reason for you to bring up your school. Chris did not ask about your school ID. You just fucking volunteered it. That has nothing to do with your actual name. It doesn't matter when you went to school. So I guess so he's saying 1991, but it's completely irrelevant. He it's a non sequitur. So it's like he just has something that's completely unrelated, and that's what it is a non sequitur. So it's like it's a logical fallacy that is completely unrelated to the question you're being asked. It's like someone asks you like, how is this tax going to affect businesses? And then you're like, well, military spending needs to be like increased because blah blah. It's like you're not even answering the question. You're just talking about something else, and that's what he's doing here. And then he just says end of story to like close it.
But I've had some people that really didn't like me.
And now he's setting up for I'm getting framed. So that's what he wants to talk about. He doesn't want to talk about specifics. He wants to talk about this ambiguous conspiracy against him, because that's where he has the most ground.
I understood and I seen construction up here, and I wasn't sure.
Wait a minute, you've seen construction, or somebody told you about construction in your story.
Wait a minute, what I saw.
You've seen.
I understood and I seen construction.
And he might have seen construction. In all probability, he did see construction, right? He was in fucking Petaluma. You know, it's a nice city here in California. Like, people are building all the time. So he probably did see construction. So once again, he's trying to integrate like some truths. So that's something that is true, or at least that's something that is believable, that he saw construction. It's like, okay, that we believe. All the other shit, not so much.
Up here, and I wasn't sure.
Wait a minute, you've seen construction, or somebody told you about construction, your story is shifting.
Wait a minute, what I saw on the way up here, I saw construction. Right. That's what I said. I said I was told about construction, I saw construction, and I was told that, you know, if I'm late, don't trip.
That makes no sense. I was told about construction, I saw construction, and you were told that. So it's like when he says I saw construction, I was told about construction. Those two things mean nothing, right? And then he jumps into I was told if I'm late, don't trip. It's like you don't go from being told ambiguously, like listen.
Construction and
Listen.
Construction. That's what I said. I said I was told about construction, I saw construction, and I was told that, you know, if I'm late.
See, but it's like he's skipping the part where he's given the address. So he's like, I was told about construction, I saw construction, and then I was told if I'm late, but it's like, how did you know where to go? And that's the crucial bit of information that, because according to him, it was an individual who called him 5 hours ago who he fucking forgot. He forgot their name of this mysterious phantom.
Don't trip.
Don't trip. Hey, don't trip, fool. You should trip in this fucking situation. This is a fucking situation to trip, man.
A young man.
That's what I was told.
Now, who told you this? Just so I have the story straight. Somebody calls you when? Today, yesterday,
5 hours ago.
Before?
Oh, I guess it's been about a week.
What the fuck? Now it's been a week. We could go back and see. He just said it was 5 hours ago. So it's like there's already a fucking lie, like right there. So this is why you can't be specific when you're lying, because it's so fucking difficult. It's like Chris is letting him give so many details, and you don't even need to like employ that much critical thinking to like see the fucking holes of this guy's story. He could say that he originally got the call a week ago and that he called him 5 hours ago just to say hi or whatever. That's bullshit though. He didn't say that. So this is a lie right here. This just shows that there's a blatant inconsistency in his story.
Yeah.
It's a day the day before.
Oh, I guess it's been about a week.
A week.
ago.
Yeah.
It says, Michael, I know you're looking for a job.
Actually, we talked about a number of things.
A number of things.
And who was the person who called?
Who was the person?
If you talked about a number of things, then that is that's just more evidence that you would know this person. It's like you're telling me that you're going to talk to someone on the phone about a job, and then about a number of things, and then not know who their name is, not even know their first fucking name, even though you're talking to them at length. And to not know anything, even if you didn't know their name, you could be like, oh well, they like if it was an employee at a place, you could be like, oh well, I called like fucking Walmart and I talked to someone at Walmart. But it's like you're not even saying where. You're just saying I don't know who it is. It's not like he called a business. He called a person, but he doesn't know who this fucking person is.
I had about 3 different phone calls. Michael,
Michael?
I talked to Michael on the bus on the 480.
That's not the answer to the question. So Michael on the bus is complete. That once again, that's a non sequitur. Chris asked, "Who called you?" And now he's talking about Michael on the bus. Let's see.
I had about 3 different phone calls. Michael, I talked to Michael on the bus on the 482.
Michael on the bus on the 482.
Wait a minute, who, just be straight with me.
Be straight with me. No, he can't do that. It's like, if he was straight with you, it sinks his entire fucking, like the facade quickly crumbles. Like, the only chance he has is to be vague as fuck. Is to just, and he can't even do it. There's no way to talk yourself out of the situation. It simply can't be done. You're not gonna fucking vindicate yourself. You're a piece of shit if you're caught on the show, and that's just the end of the fucking story. Hey, that's end of story. It's like you're out to catch a predator. It's like end of story. But yeah, he nonetheless tries. He thinks that he can be ambiguous, but it's not enough in the end.
Who called you to say there was a job and you should come here and leave a note?
I came on just what he had told me about.
Who is he? Once again.
That's what I came on. I'm just striving for work. I came on the fact that I was told it was construction work, and they're not caring whether or not there's some past history.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm
what
saying?
the fuck?
I'm just trying to find work.
Where do you live?
And it's like, so JPW is like there's no reason for him to say that. I'm surprised Chris didn't take him up on that immediately and pounce on and go past history. Then he would have immediately been like, yeah, I have past history. But it would have been interesting, I guess, just to see how things would have evolved if Chris would have latched onto that. Um, no, instead, well, I guess similarly, Chris asks, "Where do you live?" So once again, that's a specific question. Let's see if he just says like, "Over there, I live over there." He'll probably just say the city. I don't know what he's gonna respond, but I fucking bet he just says the city.
I live in
Pomona, exactly.
In Pomona.
Yeah, that's where I live.
I
What's
live
your
in
address
Pomona.
in Pomona?
693 North Signal.
See how he just said, that's got to be him lying. That's just him. I bet you that he lives somewhere close, but I bet you he changed a minor detail. There's no way that he gave Chris his actual address right there. He's not even giving him his name, right? He's being all fucking opaque about his goddamn name.
I live in Pomona. That's where I live. You know why? You know, I lived there. I know, but I was told by on the bus. I was told by actually, it was a conversation on the bus by a Mexican who was driving
By a
the bus. He
Mexican.
says there's a cement company. I know about.
Okay, so now, so presumably this is Michael. So JPW said that he talked to a number of people. One of the people that he spoke to was Michael on the bus, and the bus, it was the 482. That was what he said. So now JPW has instead said that he talked to a Mexican on the bus. So I think that because he said that originally this is a character, this person doesn't exist, but it's like because JPW created this character with the name Michael, because this character is a fucking lie. He just changed Michael to Mexican. They're similar. So that's got to be what happened, like on a psychological level.
Companies